What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some Idle Heroes. Today we're over here on the O+ account. Not that it matters, because today, probably going to keep it pretty quick. We're just going to talk about the new events, a couple of new changes to the game, just because there has been a couple. And that's what we're going to talk about. So first things first, kind of the interestinger, good word, yes, good word usage, but they did add a little deal to check the odds for drop rates on heroes. So no longer do you see just the generic drop rates, you actually see the drop rates for each specific hero. Interesting to note that Faithblade and Belrain are more rare. Is that right? Or is that backwards math? I think that's right. They're more rare than Ada. Weird, but okay. Either way, it shows you the specific drop rates for each and every hero in the game, which is kind of cool. That's all right with me. Now, I'm assuming these numbers will change when the event drops. Like when the Heroic Summon event actually comes around, I think. I'm like 42.5% sure that all those odds should double, or at least some of them should. We'll see, but your basic summon rates, you can see that it is just astronomically low to pull any kind of hero. I mean, that's ridiculous. Let's be real about it. It's crazy low. And as you can see, I've had people comment a lot, oh, Wrath, I pulled Ada from basic summons and friendship summons. Those people are liars. Do you know why they're liars? Because those heroes are not in this pool. You can't even get them. No elite heroes are actually even in there. It's basic fodder tier stuff. So if someone tells you they pulled an Ada for a friendship summon, you can call them a liar now, because now you have proof. So anyways, on top of it, so you get to see the odds, that's kind of cool, but they also did the same thing for the profit tree. So you go over here, you click on the info button, and it shows you the odds to pull heroes from the 4-star to the 5-star shards, all the way down to the 5 stars, and then each specific 5-star has its own drop rate. So the more elite heroes compared to the more basic heroes, yep, there you go. Now, I've had plenty of people tell me that I was dumb, I was wrong, that Fortress had the exact same drop rates as every other faction, and you're just being a hibbity-jibbity whatever word. I don't know. But check this out. Looks like I was actually right. So for your fodder tier heroes, the heroes that no one really builds, yeah, 0.4% chance just like every other faction. It's no different. However, when it comes down to the elite heroes, I guess they consider Flamestrike elite now, you have 0.23% chance, 0.24% chance. That's kind of the drop rates there, whereas down here it's 0.28. So they actually do have a lower chance to drop heroes of the elite nature in Fortress. Why? I couldn't tell you. I have no idea why this is a thing, but it now does confirm that there is a lower drop rate, which is strange, but it's a thing. Every other faction has the 0.28% chance on the elite heroes, just to show you. Now, Light and Dark, they're the interesting ones. They're the interesting how terrible, like your 5-star chances for fodder 0.5%. You're like, hey, that's not bad, that's not terrible. And then you go down to the actual elite heroes and 0.13, 0.133, and that's the basic booty tier, except for Asma, who's pretty freaking solid now. But you get down to the more new heroes, 0.028%. So pulling heroes from this is, well, it's crazy low chances. That's why I don't say, like, if you're a new player or something, you shouldn't be orbing Light and Dark unless you absolutely have to get that other Dark or Light hero for Heroic Miracle or something. In that case, maybe try to sneak it in, but even still, the odds are not in your favor. The odds are not in your... Why is there 2 different pools for 5-star shards? Don't know. Not really worried about it either. Anyways, there you go. That's one of the interesting parts out of the way for the new event, or I guess the new weekly update. And the second's going to be in the guild tech. Boop. Do I have anyone? It's max tech? I do. Okay. I was like, do I actually max anyone's tech so I can check this out? But as you can see, once you've maxed your tech all the way out, boop, you can click in the middle here boop, and bring in the new techs. Now, the new techs are a little, they're interesting-ish to a point. They're all pretty much based on taking less damage from a class and then resisting control effects. So stun immune, freeze immune, petrify immune, and twine immune. Really weird they threw twine immune in here and not horrify immune, because twine immune, there's only one unit that twines right now unless they're planning on dropping more twiners. Horrify is actually more common. You actually just have 2 enemies that can horrify. Starlight. You thought Starlight wasn't one. And Aspen. So that's interesting. Either way, looking at your deals, there is, I would say, specific techs that are going to be more important to focus on, especially in the world of PvP, than others. Things like Anti-Mage, because Ada and Dark Arthrodal and stuff are kind of popular toward the end game. I do believe Mim. No, it may not really affect Mim that much because it's damage over time. And that's one thing I will talk on here. is like anti-ranger tech. If you're thinking, hey, I'm going to max this out and then Valkyrie's going to suck against me, you're wrong. Damage over time doesn't give a crap about your reduced damage stat. It goes right through it because it's damage over time effect. It's not, actual direct damage. So you might reduce Valkyrie's direct damage, which is her incredibly pathetic amounts of damage she does with her basic, or like just her actual damage hitting you. But the actual damage she deals is because of her HP base. So the HP based dots, this isn't going to stop that. Those are still going to hit you freakishly hard. Now, will this help you against things like Penny? Yes. Dasmog? Yes. Because their damage is dealt in a direct manner. It's going to be a hard-hitting crit or something like that, and that's where you take the bulk of your damage, whereas Valkyrie does her damage from damage over time, which is not affected by reduced damage stats. So, you can't really counter Valkyrie with this tech at all. You can counter things like Penny, Aspens and stuff like that, Aspen or your warrior. You can't be resistant to warrior damage as a warrior. You can't be resistant to ranger damage as a ranger. So whatever class you're upgrading, you can't be anti that class. I guess it kind of makes sense if you don't think about it. But whatevers. So anyways, there's your new text kind of come here. I would say if you're going to go for like a best in slaughter, the two you don't really need to mess with at all are Assassin and Priest. Now, in broken spaces and maybe PvE, like in the Pray for Fire area, these might have some kind of utility, but because it costs so freaking much, and I mean it is stupid expensive to upgrade these things, it's absolutely ridiculous to get these things maxed out. Like they're gonna have to add a new way to get guild coins. It's so expensive. It's like 900,000 guild coins to max. It's ridiculous. Not important. But if you want to do the best in PvP, you're probably going to take things like anti-warrior, anti-mage, and anti-ranger. Warriors are still pretty prevalent. You got things like Asmodel, who hits like a freaking beast, Aspen, who's a freaking beast. You kind of want to counter those dudes a little bit. You're going to want that tech. When mage comes around, obviously, like I said, Dark Arthrodol, Ada, super prevalent everywhere. Ranger is going to really help you against things like Penny, but not so much against Valkyrie. So, I mean, Penny is a freaking monster, don't get me wrong, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to be resistant to that damage just to stop Pennies from just totally nuking your team in like one shot, which she can do, which is nasty, because she's a freak. But like I said, when it comes to Assassins, you don't see many these days in PvP right now. I mean, you've got like maybe the odd random Faith Blade thrown in there, an Amuvor here and there. I mean, it's not really something I would dump billions of guild coins into protecting against because they're just not that common. And things like Priest, there's only really a couple damage-dealing priests in the game. You have things like Amun-Ra, but mostly Amun-Ra, it's not about her damage. It's more about the fact that she makes her team immune to damage, which is stupidly hard to annoy. It's annoying to fight, it is. And then things like Vesa, which is so yesterday's news that no one really builds to counter a Vesa because you don't need to, because just regular builds counter Vesa. So like I said, these two techs you can probably leave off of every single class and save yourself a little bit of guild coins. Mainly focus, I would say, on Mage. Mage and Warrior are pretty up there. I mean, they're all kind of useful. As for the crowd control immunities, which ones are good and which ones are bad to investigate, in, I would say Freeze is probably the most useless because nothing really freezes in the in-game meta right now. I mean, you have a couple people still hanging on to a Jara out there, but it's not really that prevalent. You don't see it. I would say your biggest thing like early game is probably stun immunity because it's going to carry over not only through PvP fighting things like Cruz, Valentino, and King Bartons to the early game, but it also is always going to be helpful in the PvE area of fighting the bosses for the gold and the spirit because they stun you. So if you can be a little more resistant to stun, it can help boost your damage in that area as well, so it's not bad. After that, kind of depends on where your server has run. If your server's got a ton of Oberons on it, you might want to invest more in the Twine immunity. However, if your server seems to be pushing more toward GVE, where you have the Dark Arthrodols, the Mims, the Amun-Ras, Petrify immunity is going to be more important because there's going to be more Petrifiers on the enemy team than there will be Twiners. So, I would say, first off, pick up Stun, and then the second one you pick up should either be Petrify or Twine, kind of depending on your server. And Freeze, I would say I just leave Freeze totally undone unless they change it to have a good Freeze unit in the future, because right now there really isn't one. So there you go. That's the basic breakdown of the techs. I'm not going to go crazy in detail on how it all works because A, I don't know, and B, I'm not really that worried about it. I don't like to go super deep into the weeds and the numbers because it's more work than it's worth. you max them out and see what happens. There you go. Simple and done. But with that said, with that done and out of the way, we can talk about the more benign, the more, what's the word? I don't know, mundane, the regular, the events that are happening this week. Go through it, talk about it, just real quick, and we'll probably end it there. I've got some stuff to do today, so I can't be here all day chatting off my brain hole. So first up, the value packages, same as always. Treasure maps, woo! Not really. It's not always treasure maps, okay? But that's the item this week. It's treasure maps. So if you want to buy them, you can buy them. Moving down, Forest Lost. Boop. This is where you spend all those treasure maps when you get them. So, what do we got here? As always, I recommend you skip everything down here and snag orbs, and then skip everything up here and snag orbs. Because orbs are generally the best for making progress on your team. However, this week there is a slight change to things, and that is that Penny and Valkyrie are both on offer, and they're both really good heroes. Now, the problem is, free-to-play players, you're not going to reach this number of deals for free. It just doesn't happen. Like, if you're the luckiest person on Earth and Jupiter and the sun and the moon all align upon your bedpost, you might be able to get there, but I highly doubt it. Almost every single time this comes around, even if I don't miss, like, any windows of time to get loot, I almost always end up right around the 2,400, 2,500 mark, and that's almost always. I'm talking about years of doing this. You don't ever really get up to these echelons for free. And if you do, you're just super lucky. Awesome for you. It's just very, very, very rare. So if you're going to want these heroes, you'll probably have to spend, I would say, probably at least $70. I mean, well, you could probably do it for 60 if you bought 2 of these packs. You might be able to get there for 2 of those. So, I mean, maybe $60, maybe $70 if you're unlucky. That's probably what it's going to cost to get them. If you want to do that, that is totally up to you. But I would say, like, for all your free-to-play players, just stick right here, grab this. Skins, not worth it. Valentino, not worth it. Heroic Scrolls, not worth it. Grab these, be happy with it. If you are going to spend a little bit of money and you're not looking to get the Magic Stone Sword, which is a pretty solid artifact, don't get me wrong. Of the 2 here, I mean, it's a tough choice. Like, it kind of is. Valkyrie is good for pushing the Aspen dungeon and stuff like that and getting you into death mode. But Penny is a freak everywhere. Like, she goes into boss fights and she just nukes on people. She goes into PvP, she nukes on people. She's just a nuke. So, I mean, it'd be a tough choice to pick because they're both really top tier heroes. I would lean Penny just because she's a freak beast and she's awesome and she's new, which means she'll probably hold value longer. But either way, if you want to spend some money, that's where I'd go with it. If you're just going for free to play, grab orbs. Don't even question it, just grab the orbs. Beep. Mysterious chests. These are the same as they always are, all the way down to the last chest, which is the only one that really ever changes. These are all the same as they always are. If you guys don't know, this is priority number 1 during Mysterious Chest Week for pretty much every human being on the planet. You want to get those 8 orbs. It's important. That helps you get progress. Progress helps you make progress. So go for progress. Go for progress. Go for profit orbs. Boop. 2,400. Get it. Over here, if you really need the 4-star gear as a newer player, this isn't a bad place to get the second 2 pieces for your 4-star set, plus a couple super chips that aren't super, but whatever. And then you've got your scrolls and your purple goo. The hero promotion stone. The purple goo. It's actually a really good offer. 5 scrolls for 500 gems plus 5,000 of these. It's the best offer you're going to see for scrolls in the game, so it's not a bad thing to pick up. But like I always said, boom, this is priority number 1. Pick that sucker up. The final chest, the Big Daddy chest, has a Starlight skin, which I don't know why. Do people really build Starlight still? Is that a thing? Like, I don't know. Maybe it is. I'm just not really a big Starlight fan. Never have been, and will not be. But you do get an orange artifact as well. It's a basic orange, which means it's not going to have like your exclusive goodies in it, but it will have, regular orange stuff, and 25,000 guild coins. Now, here's the thing. With the new guild tech taking like 47 billion trillion guild coins to max out for all your heroes, there's got to be a new way to get guild coins added into the game. Otherwise, you're just looking to be like, oh, I got to play the game for another 5 years now to get my guild tech maxed? Sweet. No, there's got to be a new way to get guild coins coming somewhere around the corner. Like, it's got to be a thing, because this isn't going to cut it. Like, this is not going to cut it at all. Am I going to buy it? Yeah. Should I buy it? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't buy it. Maybe I should just boycott it. Say, no, not this day. But here you go. That's pretty much the events laid out. Like I said, aim for this first. Aim for orbs here. That's going to get you the most progress. Talked about the new-ish stuff, the new guild tech. We still got the new monster on the horizon. I'm not really, like I said, I'm not super excited for it, and there's a couple reasons. Primarily, it's because it doesn't add anything to the game, okay? Like, the new guild tech, like, woo, doesn't add anything to the gameplay. It just adds a new level of upgrade, which, again, doesn't add anything to the gameplay method of the game. Same thing with monsters. If you get this sucker to level 5 billion, it doesn't change the gameplay. I mean, you might steamroll through some gameplay now. But the thing is, it doesn't actually change any kind of actual gameplay content. You're not going in and having something new to do now because you have a new leveled monster. And this is one thing I really don't like about games that work on a server base. Like, we have a bunch of different servers. I've played games like it before, and almost always their methodology is the same. Instead of dropping new gameplay content to keep the game fresh and exciting, they kind of choose to do the laziest thing possible and just merge their servers together because, well, that keeps the active players together. Well, if you just made the game more fun to play, you'd have more active players. You wouldn't have to merge all the time. But like I said, I sent them a message like a year ago talking about like new gameplay content things, and their response was, we're more focused on merging servers right now, which didn't give me a lot of faith in the game, and here we are like a year later, and there's still no new gameplay in the game. So, is there ever going to be a new gameplay mode? I wouldn't bet on it, which is kind of the sad thing. Like, I wouldn't bet they actually will do that. I think they'll burn the game out and then just dump it like most game devs do. They're like, oh, hey, look, we've merged all the servers 47 times. There's only 6 people still playing. Let's just play it and make a different game. And that's usually how mobile devs are going to do you. So, don't be too optimistic about new gameplay. I mean, I'd love to see it because it'd actually make the game more fun to play, but I wouldn't bank on it because it doesn't seem like that's very high on their priority list. It's mainly, you know, the old let's make money and not really care about the players that much. Yay! That was uplifting. That was optimism at its peak. You're welcome for that. I know it wasn't that great. But either way, that's what this week is going to be. It should have been an orb week, but they decided for some reason to come back around at item exchange again, just sneak another one in there. Who doesn't want more item exchange events? I don't. But they thought we did, so they gave it to us. So I don't know, this week, probably going to definitely start the Soul series just because what am I going to do here? Just gather loot? Yay! Come on now. Come on, that's not that exciting. So we'll probably do that this week instead because, like I said, the enthusiasm level for Idle Heroes right now, pretty much at an all-time low. It's thing. But there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please make sure, smash that thumbs up button and show your support, and I will see you guys in the next one.